I'm on a beautiful Sunset Park walk right now at a really nice little place along the river. And I hope that nobody gets too close or hears me while I'm recording, because it's just so nice. I want to make a video, and I like my privacy. So I might pause this and edit it later, just for the record, but I am going through, sorry for the wind, I'm going through right now something that I wanted to share with you in case you can relate in any way, and in case that I can be a friend of sorts to you during this time, because I know when I needed it most, basically my support system, like 90% of it was on YouTube. I'm not even kidding. But I'm going through a situation right now where I'm dealing with familial estrangement and recovering from emotional manipulation, control, gaslighting, abuse, neglect, etc. I'm going to walk down this hill, actually. It's a more secluded path, shaded, quiet. And I had a really dysregulated day today. I was going to say tough. Dysregulated is a better word, a more accurate word. And I, not to spill my entire personal story out on the table, but I want to try to figure out how to share just enough so that I can actually still serve the people on YouTube. But I'm going through a situation where, when it comes to the places where my power was overshadowed and I was being taken advantage of, manipulated, etc., I'm taking that power back by, let's just say, learning what I need to learn to empower myself so that I can make certain decisions that are in my best interest, instead of letting my energy, my resources, my power basically seep through unseen, unacknowledged cracks. I don't know if this makes any sense. I'm trying to be general enough, but specific enough, so that if you're going through a similar situation, you can relate without me naming the details of my situation. Because that's what I'm here for, is to be of service and to be an ally and a guide and a light and a friend for those who are going through similar things. So basically, in any kind of relationship or situation that you're in where you are reclaiming your power from someone who abused you and who manipulated you, specifically familial, parental figures. Okay, let's just be straight about that. When you grow up in an environment where the truth was shared with you selectively, it's not the truth anymore. If it's partial, it's not the full truth. The truth is everything except for what's not true. Everything but lies. There's like a phrase, everything but the truth. The truth and whatever, I don't know. I'm tripping on words right now, but anyway, my point is, when you get to a point where you're sick and tired of the gaslighting and the control and the abuse and, the disempowerment, whatever it is, you kind of begin to piece reality together for yourself. And you learn and you grow and you start to see things more clearly. And the very act of seeing things clearly again, like reclaiming your inner sight, can be partially traumatic to process, because what happens is the foundation of your reality is now falling apart, because you see the truth, you see the things that were hidden from you, and it's like all these possibilities and all these lies and all this freshly realized betrayal arises, and suddenly you find yourself almost overlooking like a vast ocean of just an entire landscape, an entire reality that was hidden from you before. But now you see it clearly. And so it brings up all kinds of emotions. And it's really, really, really difficult to contend with, to process. Is that a seed? No, it's my hair. And so I wanted to talk about this because I'm actually hosting a workshop. I'm not trying to sell you anything, but if you do want to join, you are more than welcome to, so I'm going to tell you about it. But I'm hosting a workshop designed with you in mind, people who are recovering from emotional manipulation and gaslighting, to teach you one of the number one tools that I have learned to recover the emotional sovereignty that was robbed from me by the places, the people whose biological job it was to preserve and protect those things, not to rob them, not to manipulate them. Unfortunately, not everyone is handed that that blessing of safe, loving connection in their lives at the start. So I made this workshop. It's only, I think, $32 or $34 for an hour of my time. And I'm combining a lifetime of what I've learned to recover my self-confidence, my clarity, my trust in myself, my peace of mind. I have a personal relationship with God as well, and if you don't, that's okay. I also see God as love. So if you don't believe in God, or if you're allergic to that word, just see it as love. Love is like a frequency. It's a plane. It's a realm where so many things are possible. And when I choose, when I walk forward in life and make decisions based out of love, which faith and trust, trusting that love is real, is also love to me. When I walk in faith, trust, and love, I'm rewarded with peace and security, a kind of security that can't be shaken or can't be knocked down, even when life sends storms my way. And then there's also, fear. There is the choice that you have to walk forward in life in the same ways that you were taught by the people who abused and manipulated you to walk forward in life. And if you are a victim of, gaslighting, manipulation, abuse, etc., you know what it's like to survive. You know what it's like to be afraid of getting hurt because the power that this person has over you, which is a real thing. I am not someone who spiritually bypasses the realities of betrayal and power imbalances. It's a real thing. It's a real thing, and I wish more people acknowledged that when I tried to find healing in, these spiritual New Age kinds of communities. Not that they're all bad, but I think that they could use some refining at the very least. So yeah, betrayal, power imbalances, victimhood, they're real things. And I'm not a victim blamer here. I'm a victim supporter and empowerer. And I'm a believer that it's possible to recover from being a victim and to recover your power. And it's a tough process. So this workshop that I'm hosting is inclusive of, it's basically me teaching you practical, applicable skills to help you walk through life in trust, in love, and faith, coming from the background of having been emotionally manipulated, gaslit, abused, etc. Because I came from that. I'm still walking through it. And I had a really dysregulated day today, like I shared. So, I'm not perfect. I'm not healed. I'm not fully healed. This is something that has been on and off throughout my whole life. But I will say that I wouldn't be here in a different state, walking around peacefully at this park late at night very content, very close to the place that I'm staying tonight because I'm traveling. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for the trust, the intuition, the safety, the security, the love, the faith that I established in myself first. And I'm going to teach you how I did that in my workshop. And if you are, sensitive, intuitive already, this is going to be a great opportunity for you to, potentially learn new skills on how to refine those things even more. And it's going to be fun. So basically I will teach you intuitive and psychic development skills. And if I had you up until psychic, let me clarify. When I say psychic, I mean of the psyche. And when I talk about psychic abilities, like, oracular seeing, inner sight, intuition, inner knowing, what I'm referring to is essentially it can all boil back down to pattern recognition. That's what intuition is. So let me ask you this. Do you understand the concept that information exists everywhere in the ether? That whether or not we can see something in front of us with our eyes, it still exists, or it's still possible. If you agree with that and you believe that, then I think that, you could maybe get on board with, believing in psychic abilities, because in my direct, evidential, lived, measurable, tangible experience, my psychic skill set, my intuitive skill set, my knowing before I see it, before it happens, is all based on patterns, recognizing patterns. And I grew up in an environment where I was taught that feeling emotions is dangerous. I was taught that feeling emotions is, gonna make me not safe. And so emotions are energy. They need to go somewhere. They can't, if they stay stuck in the body, they're going to make you sick. And this is becoming more mainstream knowledge right now. Read the book, The Body Keeps the Score, or the book, The Emotion Code, to understand more deeply what I'm talking about if you're not already familiar with somatic intelligence and things like this. Okay, so being a sensitive person, being a person who cares a lot about the truth, about clarity, I grew up being taught that I wasn't allowed to openly express those things. I wasn't allowed to be offended by something or be hurt by something without my reaction, my valid reaction, coming back to be weaponized against me. And that was what, you went through too if you were also a victim of gaslighting or emotional manipulation. So because of my sensitivity and my unwillingness to swallow what was projected onto me, I was kind of the black sheep. I continued calling things out and I was punished for it. I went my own way and I was systemically abused, and I had groups of people turn against me or ignore me or neglect me. I've been through the ringer with this stuff, and that's why I want to teach you one of the most important things that got me through it and share that with you. And to be honest, I'm also trying to make money being of service in a way that's meaningful for my soul. So it's kind of a give and take here. So what I'm trying to say is, or what I've been trying to say is that I learned to map and track my emotions and the way that they move through my body physiologically, somatically. And what this did for me is it kind of wired in my brain the ability to recognize psychosomatic patterns. What does this mean? It means that when my intuition started to tell me something, or I would get a gut feeling, I was so in tune with my emotions and so aware of what would trigger them, when they would trigger, what got triggered, what resolved them, when they changed, what the circumstances were in my environment and my, internally and externally that influenced them. And I paid attention to this. And I also have like a decade of meditation practice in this life. And yeah, I started doing that a long time ago. And that helped me refine my awareness, basically. So now when I have a sense or a feeling, or I receive, as intuitive or psychic community would call a download, when information just comes, or call it a revelation, call it inspiration, call it an insight. When I would receive that divine inspiration, is another word you can use to refer to it, I more and more, with more clarity, more precision, would be able to interpret and understand what that feeling was telling me. And this is intuition in motion. This is psychic knowing in motion. This is knowing something before you have that intellectual understanding. This is recognizing a pattern before it is validated or reflected or confirmed back to you. Look how beautiful this is right now. I just love it. Beautiful, beautiful live oak tree. I think this is a live oak. Yeah, it looks like it. There's some gorgeous old growth trees, and I got some mosquito bites on my legs. They're really annoying. So yeah, that's intuition and psychic ability in motion. That's my definition, my experience of those things. And I wanted to share that with you to demystify the words, because they can come off pretty woo-woo, and I'm coming at you with real, grounded, lived experience that I'm going to share with you. This is not just magic, even though I believe in magic for sure, but it's like, this is just the grounded explanation of these things. And that experience is the direct antithesis to self-doubt, to what emotional manipulators and gaslighters do to their victims. They create doubt in you. They gaslight you. They create smoke screens around the reality, around the truth, and they're masterful. They are masterful. So they find ways to pull the strings of your emotions so that you become emotionally tied and influenced by their distortions and their hidden agendas. So that's why emotional manipulation and gaslighting is so tricky to recover from, because it literally creates an emotional psychosomatic pattern in your body that trains your literal nervous system not to register the truth, because you literally experience emotions that tell you that what's true is not actually true. Because what happens when you grow up in a family and someone slaps you in the face and you scream, and you're told, stop screaming, you're hurting my ears, but you're screaming because you have a black eye now, they slapped you in the face, what are you supposed to do? But that's your first impression, or a long-lasting, intimate, deep-rooted psychological somatic impression that you carry. So it's like, your nervous system has been trained to mistrust itself and to doubt its signals. So it's like what emotional manipulation and gaslighting does is it causes you to react to your own clarity, to doubt yourself. And it's like that very first impulse is always your intuition. And as soon as you register even a hint of a good, right, aligned feeling, a good feeling, relief, truth, love, that's God, that's love, whatever you want to call it, that's what we're here to follow, because that's your version of that. It's not going to look like anybody else's necessarily, but I'm here to help you and give you the tools that I've learned to follow that in myself, for you to align with it within yourself. And it's not a space where I'm going to tell you need to do XYZ in your life to have what you want. I can't tell you that. I can show you the tools that I used to work on the machinery of my psyche, my spirit, my soul. Hope that makes sense. Because I want to be here and be of service to you in helping you and your nervous system go from doubting and having a knee-jerk flinch reaction to those good feelings and those intuitive knowings, from reacting to those and being afraid of those and doubting those, to trusting them. Because I can speak from my own experience. The more that I trust my intuition and the more that I act on it, the more that I'm affirmed and rewarded. And I have so many examples of this. And one recent example actually is, I'll just tell you this and then I'll wrap this up. And by the way, check the link in my description if you want to RSVP for my event. It's only like $33, $34, $32 for an hour of practical tools to help support you in healing from this, to get you through this. From someone, myself, who has lived this. So yes, I'm traveling right now, staying in hotels, and my intuition told me to extend my stay here. My mind was saying, look for a cheap hotel, look for the cheapest hotel, blah, blah, blah. And so when I finally followed through with that, they actually wound up giving me the lowest rate of any hotels that I've stayed at throughout this entire trip. And they reduced the nights that I had already paid for to that low price. So basically, I was staying at a really nice place for less than half the original price per night that it was listed at. And this is a small example of how trusting your intuition, following your feeling, and investigating. When I say follow your feeling and trust your intuition, I don't mean blindly act and do something just because you feel like it. I mean, go investigate. And if it's safe, then take a leap, take a chance. And, if it's not going to put you in danger or be more of a risk than you can actually afford, because this is another nuance about this topic. When it comes to trusting your intuition, I thought that was the moon, it's a street light. When it comes to trusting your intuition, there is a level of risk involved when it comes to taking a leap of faith. However, I'm not here to encourage, blindly leaping into something that genuinely is too risky for you. And I'm here to support you in your discovery and empowered, awareness of what the level of risk is that you're willing to take. And sometimes your nervous system is not ready to handle that, and that's more than okay. And sometimes you will, and that's great. So anyway, I'm here to be of service to you and share everything that I can, everything that I learned. So check out the link in the description, RSVP, like and comment this video, subscribe, help my algorithm grow, help this video reach the people that it needs to see, people that could benefit from it. Give it a share if you think someone might feel less alone hearing, a story from someone else who is going through maybe something similar than that they are. So that's that. Sending you so much love. I think someone's dog is trying to pee on my car right now. This guy's like fighting with his dogs, trying to pull them away. Anyway, so yeah, that's that. I will see you guys next time. Sending so much love. Take care of yourselves. Be well.